What up? What up? What up? What's going on, brother?
And we back for another week, ain't it, Killer?
Hey, we getting more and more official. We got to do background. We got starting video. What we doing with this, man? We trying to be big time sometime.
Hey, trying to.
Gotcha. But we want to welcome everybody back to the second week of our promoter series. So today, of course, we have another promoter following last week of Dave Battle. So we got a pretty crazy lineup of promoters that really, I think, let's say, are really doing the really great job at leading the sport and taking the sport to the next level. So I don't want to, rush straight into it, but we're going to get straight into it. So without further ado, we're going to introduce Mr. Todd Rogers to the stage. What's going on, brother? Oh, can you hear us?
What's up, man? What's up?
We thought there was a delay. We was like, is he here? Is he not here? What's going on?
Yeah. So what's happening, man? Tell me about it.
I think what you should do is you should tell us about yourself. Give us a short intro on who you are, who you promote for, and what you do, brother.
Well, my name is Todd Rogers. They call me the Doc, I'm with Onyx Naturals. Onyx Naturals. We're going into our fourth year this year, with Onyx Naturals, man. I've been in the promote game for a while now. I started back in 2015. I promoted for the Natural Fit Federation, the NFL. My first show was the Poseidon Classic, which I co-promoted with Todd Tanner. I also, from there, I became a judge. I was one of those guys that wanted to find out every aspect of the game, so I went from competing as a Natural Fit NFL pro, PNBA pro. So I did a lot of stuff in the game, but promoting was what was my passion, what I really wanted to do, especially here in Texas, because we wanted to make sure that we was putting some shine on the Texas athletes, because, at one time, I always talk about natural bodybuilding culture and natural bodybuilding culture in Texas. At one time, this was WNBF country, from the border all the way up to the Oklahomas. It was nothing but WNBF in Texas. And then when WNBF left, you had the Natural Fit Federation. And that was David Knowles. He was a great president, owner of that federation. And he brought me in. He taught me a lot of stuff about the culture and about the NFL. So moving fast forward from that point on, I went on and I became a judge for several different organizations, the NGA here in Texas, PNBA here in Texas, Muscle Mania here in Texas, so I could learn everything, every aspect of the game, as far as bodybuilding. The GBO, Global Bodybuilding Organization, came about at the same time as the NFL. They both came out at the same time back in 2015. The NFL was pretty cool because it already had established shows, because most of those shows were WNBF shows that just changed over to the NFL. And so from that point there, the GBO was there. I got with the GBO, which was basically not a natural federation. But with my part in it was actually bring naturals to the Global Bodybuilding Organization, which I was able to do. I was soon named director of judging. Then after that, I left from there and became the director of the GBO Naturals. And that's pretty much where we stopped at right now. And then later on, I just decided, hey, I could do this thing myself. And that's where I got with my partners, Michael Gayden, Dwayne Malone, and we started Onyx. So that's basically where we're at.
Absolutely, Todd. I had the pleasure of meeting you. I think we first crossed paths in 2021 at the Florida Pro, if I'm not mistaken. So
Yes, yes.
I've known you for a few years now, and you said something earlier about the culture. I had a chance to come to DFAT Worlds last November, which you are the president of the organization, or whatever. Great show, by the way. I really enjoyed myself.
Thank you. Thank you.
Um, the culture is definitely different out there. So how did you build the culture that y'all have? Because y'all are very tight knit, like you said. It's Texas based heavy out there, and all y'all stick together. So how were you able to build that culture as a promoter?
It, it took a while, man, because like I said, my main emphasis, like when I met you, my thing was, I had a relationship with all the heads, with Daryl, uh, Ken, Mark, uh, I had relationships with them, so I was able to reach out. My thing was, in the process of doing that, I want to reach out to them and expose Texas, because Texas is like its own thing. I wanted to expose Texas athletes to what you guys were doing out there. So I would bring athletes with me to come to Florida, come to other Minnesota, and actually compete so they could see something outside of Texas. In that same process, I was trying to bring those cultures from those different organizations to Texas to see what we were doing, what the NFF was doing down here in Texas, what GBO was doing, what Onyx is doing down here. So it was a process, a sacrifice really, of me just getting out there, shaking hands and kissing babies, man. And like I said, that's how I met you, So, me and Eric, we never haven't actually met personally, but I knew of Eric. And and that's my thing. Understanding the culture, just like um um what was the show we had? The subculture, you know what I'm saying? That's what natural bodybuilding was. It was a subculture, So and I was really determined to understand that and see all the people that I need to meet, the Andes and all of that, make sure that I understood everything it was about natural bodybuilding.
Right.
And I was about to say with that, before we get too deep heavy into the promotion bag, how important do you think it is as a promoter to do what you're doing? Like you go to other people's shows, you have good relationships. I don't want to I think good relationships is the key word. Good
Right.
relationships with other people to be welcome to those shows. And I also, like I said, we came across each other. You actually I think we exchanged messages. How important is that for promoters to actually establish relationships not only with other promoters and other organizations, but also athletes?
It's big time important. I mean, if you're gonna be in this game, man, you got to be able to reach out to people and talk to people and talk on that level that they're actually at. Like I say, all the big promoters, they know me. A lot of the athletes might not know me, but most of all the big promoters, they know me. So they're out there. They know what I do and what I stand for. And it's about the athletes in the end. That's what it's all about. It's not about the organization. It's not about who you are, what, or nothing like that. It's about the athletes. As a pro athlete, when I was competing, I tried to do everything for the athletes that I wanted done for us. From the money, from promotion, from uplifting, putting them in positions where they can win. That's what we wanted. When we were first started back in, I say the caveman days, but that's what we wanted. And now that I have the opportunity to do that, that's what I do. So it's basically all about the athletes, and a lot of times promoters and organization heads, we get in our own way because we forget what it's all about.
Absolutely. Let's just deep dive into Onyx. Where did you get the name? What does it mean? And what just makes Onyx different from any other natural organization out there?
I'm not gonna say that we have a big difference than any other organization, but we are an organization of natural athletes. You know, it's for us. You know, built
Right.
by us, promoted by us. You know, everybody on my team has competed on stage before. They're all natural athletes, and they all bought into this vision that I have. You know, of being able to give back to the athletes. You know, that's coming up behind them. And so, how the name was, the name, I had my own organization. It was called ODF, which was Operation Doc Frank. That's where the doc came from. Operation Doc Frankenstein. And then you had Michael, he had X Frame, and then Malone had Natural Productions. So that was the O, the N, and the X. That's how that came about. And we just put them all together and made Onyx. And it just worked out right. You know, it just worked out right, man. And so like I said, we're on our 4th year of actually promoting this organization, man, and we're growing rapidly, you know, quicker than what I thought we would grow, you know, from what I thought we would do. You know, I thought, you know, basically it'd be, you know, we have a couple shows. I think we have probably about 10 shows on the docket right now here in Texas. And not only that, we also we kind of deviated from the natural bodybuilding a little bit. We started 2 more organizations. We have a foundation, a 501c foundation, where we give back that way also, you know. And then we also have our entertainment side where, you know, we do different things with the athletes and we invite them over, you know, stuff beyond the stage. Or you could say that, like, we got athletes that can sing and comedians and all that. So we throw little shows like that and stuff like that for the athletes, and they come out and they entertain, you know, and they do their thing, you know, outside the bodybuilding. So that's how Onyx came about.
Okay, so you just got a whole situation down there going on, but I guess I'm going back to the point of you stated you've been a part of so many different organizations, you
Right.
judged and did things of that nature. What advantage do you think that brings Onyx for your judging criteria, for the way you guys treat athletes and for the way you guys do things there?
Well, I think it helps because I have an insight on a lot of different stuff, and I think that, you know, the judging part, because that was my background. You know, I was a judge, and I took that real serious, man. I done judged all over the world. You know, I done judged in Africa and Mexico, Ecuador, the UK, Germany. I've had that opportunity through natural bodybuilding to judge all over the world. So I brought that back, and in my training, when I actually started putting together different judging teams, because we have different judging teams. You're not going to, if you go to a city in Texas, you're not going to see the same judges in Houston that you see in Dallas. You're not going to see the same judges in Dallas that you see in Houston. So I have a team. I have teams of judges that I put out there to actually judge these shows in these different regions. And so my thing was I wanted to put something together different, but yet the integrity and the criteria are always number one. Number one. I tell my judges all the time, what's your number one thing? Criteria, criteria, criteria. You know, and I'm proud of that. I'm really proud of that because, you know, I'm proud of our judging and what we bring to the table as far as the organization when it comes to judging and making sure that we get it right.
All right. Well, I'm gonna go in a different direction. Y'all are heavy Texas based. I think y'all have one show in South Carolina.
Coming
If I'm
up, we got
mistaken.
one March the 7th. Yes.
Okay, you got a show in South Carolina. NFF is based out of Texas, correct too, right?
Yeah. Yes.
So now I'm pretty sure you've seen it. You got other organizations trying to make their way into Texas. How can or how will you ensure? How are you going to stay true to what you're building in Texas without other people trying to come in and take over?
You know, Jay, I really don't have a problem with that. You know what I'm saying? At all. I mean, we're gonna do our thing. Honestly, gonna do our thing, regardless.
Right.
You know, we're gonna be true to who we are. You know, uh, but I kind of support the fact that other organizations actually come here. You know, and I want to support those organizations also because, in my mind, again, it's not about the organization; it's about the athletes, about giving them opportunities. And if the athletes in Texas can get more opportunities from these other organizations and treat it fair as natural athletes, I don't have a problem with it, you know, at all. You know, and I'm willing to work with any organization that comes to Texas. You know, like I said, I done got love everywhere. You know, I done got love from the USBF. I done got love from the Muslim, Mr. America with Mark and them. I done got that love, man. You know, from Kent and them over at the ANBF. You know, so I ain't got no problem with it. Matter of fact, I judge for the ANP, and I done judge for each one of those organizations. I judge for, you know what I'm saying? You know, that's the relationship that I have with them. So I don't have a problem with that. And I think that's a good thing, you know, to expose these athletes to so many different things, you know, different opportunities. Because again, like I say, it's all about the athlete. It's never about me. It's not about me. It's about the athlete. That's why I do this, man. That's my passion. That's why I do it. You know, promoters don't make no money. We're not getting rich out of this. You know what I'm saying? If you do it for the passion. You do it for the culture. You do it for the athletes. You know, you want them to have things that you never had. You want them to have opportunities that you never had. And that's my big thing is to catch that young guy that just got into bodybuilding and, you know, and make it good for him. Give him the experience that he walks away from an Onyx show saying, man, I even if I didn't win, I enjoyed myself. I enjoyed what they brought to the table and what we provided for them, you know. So that's my big thing, man. So getting back to your question, no, I don't see it as an issue at all. I support it. And I'm willing to work with all organizations, which I think we all should be working with. Because, you know, like I've been firm believer that we all should be supporting Mark with the Mr. America. I'm a firm believer in that every organization should be our end game. That should be our end game. Where we bring everybody to Mr. America. For all the champions from every organization, that should be the end game right there.
Okay, so you stated something earlier that stuck out because you said it 3 times. You spoke about the criteria, and the criteria. And me and Jamal, I won't speak for the both of us, but we have competed in multiple different organizations, and we realized that over time, some people's criteria start differentiating from what is perceived in other organizations.
Right.
So how did you nail down your criteria on it, and how does it differentiate from any other organizations?
Well, I see. Even here in Texas, we have the NFF is a little different in their criteria than we are with Onyx. My mindset, like for instance, I'm head to toe when it comes to our athletic division, whereas in the NFF, it's more of a, well, with the females anyway, because they have female athletic, it's more of a top heavy, like track, you know, from waist up, like track kind of a criteria. And mine is from head to toe, you know, as far as how the athletes are looked at. Bikini side, they like a more softer bikini. I like a little more harder bikini. You know, my thing has always been to me, yeah, I need to see that you worked out. I need to see you in the gym. You know, I'm not saying that they should be overstrided or deep cuts or nothing like that, but I want to see some firmness, some tone to the athlete in bikini. That's the way I look at it. You know, so it's a little different. It's a little different, but we stick to our guns on our criteria, and we want to make sure that we do a lot of clinics, a lot of things, so that the athletes understand what we're trying to accomplish with the criteria and what to look for when they get on stage, you know, and to help them establish where they fit in the criteria, you know, because I got an athlete, Jess. She's like, you know, she's one of those most versatile athletes I know, where she can like kind of swing from criteria to criteria, from division to division, based on how her training is going at the time. So that's our thing. We just want to make sure that, you know, not making it anything big or like we're just opposed to any other criteria, but our criteria, I think, is solid to what we're trying to do over here in Onyx.
And that's one thing I mentioned on last week episode when we was interviewing Dave Battle, because he had posed a question or what. So I was like, I think the question was like, have you ever been slighted on stage, like out of a replacement or something like that? And what I explained to him, I was like, I've been to different organizations and the criteria is different. So the package that I brought to DFAT, that wasn't a winning package, but my criteria would have won per se in the OCB. Right. So us as athletes, I think we need to do our research and get into the organizations to make sure that make sure that our physique is what they want at that particular organization. So.
Right. Where you actually fit in the criteria, you know, that's the thing. And you're definitely right, because it's going to be different from organization to organization. Just like I said, just in the bikini division right here in Texas, you know, the NFL sees it one way, I see it another way. You know, I like a more firmer bikini girl than, you know. Put it this way, I always say this about bodybuilding: soft shouldn't be nowhere in bodybuilding. That term soft should never be in bodybuilding. You know, it's called bodybuilding for a reason. So I believe in some firmness, you know, but you're right. You know, you have to research your organizations, research what they're going, look at past champions, look at those folks who are competing at right there and at the top level, and see what they look like, what that physique looks like, and research the criteria and see where you fall in the criteria. Because you might not, a lot of times, probably not on the pro level, you know, but on the amateur level, you might think you this, but you really something else. You know what I'm saying? You know, especially, you know, we got the wellness division, you know, you got athletes that you think you might be wellness, but no, you're really not. You're really not. You might be something else, but in your mind, you think you are. You think you look like those folks, but you really don't. You really don't.
All right, I'm gonna get into your show bag and the shows that you actually or that you promote. What can you say, like, what can you tell an athlete, like, when they come to do an Onyx show, not knowing anything about Onyx, they're like, yo, I'm gonna just go to Texas, I'm gonna do this show. What is something that, that's what Jamal did, yeah. So what is something that you hope they leave with after they, you know, do that show?
I want them to make sure that they had a good time. That's the biggest part with the shows. We try to execute in production. We want to make sure that I'm a timely guy, so I want stuff to start on time, be on time, run on a good time. You know, I'm a firm believer in doing straight through formats. You know, because I want athletes to like get in the show, enjoy the show, do your thing, take care of your business, get on stage, get out. Especially if it's a destination place like, say, Dallas or Houston, San Antonio. get out with your family, go and enjoy yourself the rest of the day. I don't want to be drawn out all day long when they're just there, because I want to make it good for the audience, for your family also. I don't want to just be, like I'm waiting, when is she coming on? I like for it to be where it is in between time when we're getting all the way up to where you come on, say bikini, and you're waiting all day to see bikini. Did you enjoy the rest of the show? I wanted to be that type of production where you enjoyed the rest of the show. You enjoyed everything that was going on, the vendors, the atmosphere, the whole 9 yards. I wanted to be one of those type of events where you enjoyed the whole show, and the athletes also, that they enjoyed it.
Yeah, and I can definitely attest to that. Like I said, I had a good time when I came out there in November, and I think the thing about it is, and I don't want nobody to take this the wrong way, but you're hip to the culture, right? So like just listening to the DJ playing music and everything, it was like a whole vibe. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody was friendly. There wasn't nobody acting uptight. You didn't have mean freaking expediters yelling at people. Like it was just a smooth operation. So like I said, had a great time, and I would definitely come back, anytime to DFAC. It's just one of them shows where I actually enjoyed myself and it was good people around me. So a little bit about that. Let's hop into DFAC Worlds. Where is it going to be at this year?
So we'll be back in Germany this year. We'll be back in Germany, and same place. Yeah, we'll be out there in Munich and Erning, Germany. We'll be out there again this year. I think it's November the 7th, 6th or the 7th, and we'll be back. Great venue. I mean, and they put on a show. Let me tell you. So I went in 2024. We hadn't had a DFAC show here, DFAC World here since like 2019 in the United States. And the year before that, I think it was in Australia. And the year before that, it was in the Grand Caymans. And we had a great time in Germany, man. We're hoping to take another U.S. team out there this year. Well, we are going to take a U.S. team out there this year. And like I say, it was great, Jamal, man. You would love it. You would love it. And Ernie is like a Christmas time, man. If you ever watch a Hallmark movie or something like that, and you see the little paved roads and fluorescent colored buildings and stuff, man, it's just like that, man. It's almost like, every day you wake up, you go outside, it's Christmas, so it's really cool, man. It's in a nice area, real cool. People are great in Germany, man. They love us. They love natural bodybuilding, so it's a good place.
Okay, so I have another question. I've been having questions pop up, like really good ones too. So, so we spoke to a few presidents of organizations,
right,
or people who are leads in organizations, and I never asked this question. It never came up until now. So you already talked about your judging teams, how you went about finding judges, making sure that the teams are going for a criteria.
Right.
But as a president, do you take that upon yourself to make sure that each and every show in your organization has the same standard? Because I know I went to a couple of different organizations, and one show is really great, then one show is a hit or miss. And especially as a coach, we have to always dictate where we take our athletes. And we never want to take our athletes to one of those shows and it's a miss. So as a president, do you take that like close to the heart to make sure that every one of your shows are carried a certain way?
Yes. All our shows are pretty much designed the same way. And when it comes to judging, see, I have like a board of directors. My director over judging for the last 3 years has been James Mickles. He's been over my judging. I trained him, and he trained the judges. So I trained him on everything, the aspects, but I still keep my finger on it to make sure that everybody's doing what they need to be doing. Now, James has been promoted. I guess I could put that out there. Now, James has been promoted to vice president of operations with Onyx now. So he's up there, my second-hand man right now. And then we have Isaac Johnson, who moved up into the director of judging. So they all been under me for so long, man, that they know exactly what we have going on, and they trickle that down in the training to the judges that we have in each city that we have, or wherever region it is. That's who take care of that, make sure that everything stays on the same level, and that we're putting out the same product that we put in every other city, every show.
All right. I think my last question here. Do Onyx plan on expanding to different states? Because as we already said, you're Texas heavy. You got one show in Greenville, South Carolina. Are we going to see Onyx pop up in different states? Because like I said, I think you're a good organization, and I think more people in the South need, even up north, need to experience the Onyx.
We're definitely working on it. We just gotta have boots on the ground. You know, it's kind of hard to promote. When I was with GBO, you know, like I said, I was senior director of GBO Naturals. I was putting shows in different. I had shows in Florida. I had shows in Atlanta. You know, even when Onyx had merged with SMA, we had those shows in Atlanta also. And that's basically how we came about with the Carolina shows, you know, from being with SMA. And once SMA dissolved, then we still ended up with South Carolina show. And I'm excited for it. I want it to grow, but it's kind of hard if you don't have the boots on the ground to get out there and make things happen, and to have folks that really believe in your vision, believe in what you're trying to do and what you stand for. So it's kind of hard, but we're working on it. Believe me, we're working on it, man, and we're going to try to expand and get outside of Texas. I mean, Texas is a monster itself, you know, but we're definitely going to try to get outside of Texas and make things happen. We got a show that's getting ready to be promoted. It's an amateur show. It's going to be in New Orleans. We're working on another show that's from our Diva series, which is our all-women series. We're trying to put it in St. Louis. So we're working on making some moves, definitely making some moves to other states, other areas, other regions. And, you know, but until then, we're going to keep rocking like we're rocking it down here in Texas, though.
All right. And one more thing before Eric goes on. The one thing I do like, I see that you do like a work for your organization. If I'm not mistaken, I think me and Eric tried to pitch that to somebody before. Like, you know, should have like a award ceremony for the athletes, you know. So I think it's pretty cool that you do that you actually recognize your athletes that's involved in that organization. So kudos to you, man. That's pretty cool.
Thank you. Yeah, we want, like I say, man, it's all about the athletes. We want to make sure that we acknowledge that, man. I mean, you know, like I said, I mentioned Jess earlier, man. Jess is a phenomenal athlete. You know, and like I try to send athletes places, you know, I sponsor athletes. I send athletes to different organizations and stuff like that so they can experience. And I want those Texas athletes to experience that. Last year, we sent 4 or 5 athletes to Grand Cayman. The year before that, we sent some athletes to Grand Cayman, you know, to go out there and compete and win. Just won. She won the bikini competition out there in Grand Cayman, you know. So we're going to try to do the same thing this year, you know, because I'm building a relationship with the Grand Cayman, with the DFAC Caribbean, you know, and they're doing the same thing with us. So they send athletes to Onyx to compete. We send athletes out there to the Grand Caymans to compete, you know, and I think it's a wonderful relationship. Matter of fact, we're in the works right now trying to put another show with Onyx and the Grand Caribbean, DFAC Caribbean, and do other islands within the Caribbean. We're looking at Jamaica. We're looking at Trinidad. You know, we're looking at places, destination places, so we can send these athletes so they can go out there and experience that and just make it like a vacation too, you know, while they're out there. So those are things that we're working on, man. Like I said, hey, I want them to get everything that I didn't get. You know, I want them to get all the stuff that I didn't get, you know, and if I could do that, and I think one of your questions was, how do you feel after everything's said and done? How you feel you want to be remembered. And that's how I want to be remembered, that I gave back to this passion that I love, which is natural bodybuilding.
Okay, so my final question, because you know they spinning. All right, so you spoke about, I think you said her name was Jess.
Yeah.
So, and you have an award ceremony. I was unaware of that, so that is very new, and I think that is super dope. I kind of came off the top of the head last week with Dave and asked him a random question about his state. So, since you're in Texas, I need to know 3 of your top athletes from Texas. I'm talking natural bodybuilding athletes. Last week, I just asked some regular athletes. I need 3 natural bodybuilding athletes that people should look out for, that people should know if they don't know. You're gonna let us know. And then 2, where we need to go eat if we come to Texas. So 2 places to eat and 3 athletes. I need to know.
Well, my 3 athletes would be, of course, as Jamal knows, Mario. He's actually our athlete of the year this year, for last year. Mario Hill. I've been knowing Mario since he was an infant in the game. You know what I'm saying? And he was like something I always say about you too, Eric. He was a men's physique guy. You know what I'm saying? He was a men's physique guy back when the NFL used to have what we consider our athletic division. And he was that guy. And then he moved on to the long short. But as I started seeing in progress, I was like, man, nah, you need to get up out those long shorts, man, and put these classic shorts on. And finally he listened to me, man, and Mario moved up, man, and he did that. And the physique, the package that he's been bringing for the last 3 years has been amazing. Amazing. So that's one of my top athletes. Then the next one would be David Lovelace, Mr. DFAC himself, world champion. I've been knowing David forever. David been competing since the early 2000s, man. He competed in the DFAC. He competed back in the day. He competed in the WNBF, NGA. He's a trailblazer, man. When I finally become get it all together, I'm gonna do a Texas Hall of Fame. He's gonna be one of the inductees in the Texas Hall of Fame, man. Because the dude is just that good, man. He's just that good. Hopefully, we're gonna get him to go, take him out to Germany so he can get up there and compete against them big boys out there, man. They got the Austria Natural Bodybuilding Federation out there, and they have the Australian A&B Natural Bodybuilding Federation. So hopefully we'll be able to take him out there so he can compete against those guys and stuff and show what he got. But that's one of the 2 of the 3 that I really think are some monsters out here in Texas. My third one would be, of course, Angelica Thompson. You know, she's Miss DFAC, boys figured. Hey, what can I say about Angelica? She's amazing. And then Jess, as I said, Jess is just versatile, man. She's amazing. She's one of those all-around athletes, you know what I'm saying? You know, I done seen her on the figure stage. I done seen her in the athletic stage, and I've seen her on the bikini stage. And she's always right there in the top 5 every time. So those are my
We'll
those
let
are my
that
top.
slide because he said 3 and you try to throw Jess in there at 4.
I had to.
We'll let that slide, Todd.
I had to. I answered, that's my girl, man. That's my girl.
Man.
You know, and then that's, you know, that's one of the things about this game, man. I meet so many people. Like back in the day, you know, when I first met Jamal, I was like, that dude that got juice, man. He got juice. Y'all better
Back in my
watch
dang
him.
on younger days, man. Yeah, that was like that's when I first started taking it serious.
Yeah. I said, y'all better watch him. You better watch him. I saw it. I saw what it was gonna happen, what's gonna happen, you know. You and and Doc. I was like, yeah, them two right there. Even though when I first saw y'all and y'all made those wins at Daryl's show, I actually figured y'all should have been flipped, you know, but you know, it's all good.
It's all good.
It's all good.
I got one out of it, so
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did.
Oh man. All right, so to end this episode, because you brung up David Lovelace, and
Yeah.
if people been hiding up on the rock, he recently got his OCB Pro card. So my guess is he's gonna pop up at the Yorton this year.
He is.
Okay,
That's his plan.
so
That's his plan. And
So-
even if I have to sponsor him, he's coming.
all right. So from your perspective, I don't want you to be biased here. I just want you to look at it from a judging standpoint. You got Magnum McCrae and you got David Love. Who wins that?
It's gonna be close. It's gonna be tight. You know what I would like to see it at, you know, between the two, it's gonna be tight. But I'm thinking David probably could edge him in the end if he got with the posing. Cause the dude, you know, like you said in one episode, like the way we do it is that we actually judge posing. That's why we actually have the athletes do their posing routine prior to, you know, to the presentation. So that part of the presentation is actually in our overall score. So I don't know, man. You know I got to root for my boy.
Oh man.
Hey, I sent him the Grand Cayman. And when he got down there, he got second. He got second. But he went up against Mr. America, you know. He went up against Mr. America out there. And he got second against Mr. America, but then he turned around the next year and came back and won Mr. America. So that's a cool thing.
Right.
Yeah.
So what I'm hearing is we got some exciting things that's about to happen this year. Todd, can you please tell everyone where they can find you and what is their next Onyx show coming up? Let us know.
We got they can find me on Onyx, ONX _naturals, or Todd Rogers, Onyx Prez, ONX _PRES, Facebook, Todd Rogers, Onyx Naturals. You can find us on all those platforms, social media platforms. Also, you know, if you're a TikTok guy, we're on there also as Onyx Naturals. Our next show, first show out the box, will be the South Carolina show, which is March the 7th. Then we'll be back in Texas, in the north end of Texas. They got snow right now too. We'll be there for the Lone Star, and that's going to be like March the 28th. So those are two shows that we got coming up. Like Jamal said, we got a lot of events coming up. We got our award ceremony is going to be next week on February the 7th. We also have our beginning of the year clinic that we always have, November the 7th on the same day. We'll be having athletes coming from across Texas and out of the state coming to participate in that event. That's probably one of the biggest natural bodybuilding clinics in Texas, and we have that every year at Space City Gym in Humble. As far as a best place to eat, everywhere. This is Houston, baby. This Houston, and you can't miss. You can't miss. You cannot miss, baby. You gonna leave up out there? I'm telling you.
Hey man, but it was a pleasure, Todd. We appreciate you for coming on, man. You took the invite quickly. We highly appreciate you for giving us this information. I hope that people enjoyed this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. All right.
Hey man, it's been an honor. Let me tell you something, man. I appreciate the things that you guys do because, like I said, I'm a big culture dude, man, and I like the fact that y'all keep that in the game. And just keep doing what y'all doing, man. We appreciate you. The natural bodybuilding community appreciate you guys, man. You guys are a blessing, man, for real.
I appreciate that, Todd.
Thank you. And to you guys who are watching, until next week, we are out. Peace.